Hi, everybody. This is a swine repellent here. I'm in the great town of New Carlisle, Indiana. I and this person here are doing an audit. I saw a cop down that way sitting, and this is the town of New Carlisle. This is a old, historic, little sleepy town. We're gonna go to the Prancer location here. This is where hi, Cindy. Where the fire department and law enforcement will do their training. See it there. See, there's a key code access, and hopefully, my friend will be okay there. And so the Prancer house down here is for sale for 400 and I think $30,000 if you want to buy the historic house that was used in the movie A Prancer. I personally will not be making a bid because it's a historical house and you can't do any type of changes or anything. You can't make any alterations or anything because it's a historically owned house, and people in this town are not used to cameras. They're not used to what we're doing. So hopefully everybody will act appropriate and not engage in stupidity. So there's a cop that is behind me, folks. If you see the cop up there, I don't know how to zoom in on my live stream. I'll have to work on that. And then there is the elevator that was used in A Prancer there. That's Zoll's elevator. And then, so if you guys recall, that actual view that I am showing you there, that was in the movie A Prancer. And then that house up on the hill, I don't know how to zoom in here on this, but that is the Prancer house. See if I can't get a better location here to show you guys his house. But that's the Prancer house. So that's the contact stuff if you want to buy it. Sometime I'll actually go on the property, and so I'm gonna head back, and hopefully he's okay. So he's making contact with the cop now, I think. And maybe the cops, they know what's going on because they're not stopping. So maybe they're hip to what's going on. So that is a NCPD officer. They are the worst and most corrupt and just dishonest, just horrible law enforcement agency in the history of law enforcement. And so that building right there, the main attractions sign that used to be a place called the Movie Zoo years ago. And there's Mosier's Fine Dining Austria Cafe if you guys so inclined. And then over here is where they as in the fire department, keep all their junked cars and extra cars and vehicles. And so far, the NCPD, they're being very nice and very respectful. That's only because they saw me about 5 minutes ago, so they kind of figured that something's going on if I'm here. So. And here's the New Carlisle Fire Department here. So I'm going to take you guys down to Wells Fargo here, where some years ago, this bank was robbed at least twice, I think maybe 3 times. So the funny part about this is then I'll show you what is directly next door. And that'll just make you guys just give a little chuckle. So he's having a conversation upon the locals. So he's educating some people here. So somehow this guy have a reasonable expectation of privacy, and they don't. So this is, I believe this is going to be Ron Witt here, I think. And so Ron Witt, I'm going to sue him about 3 times in federal court. And he's corrupt and dishonest. So somehow this guy here thinks that he and his family have a reasonable expectation of privacy. And the courts of privacy. That'd be my First Amendment right, sir. Uh-oh. Goodness, that's a USC 1985.
Actually, you should thank me for that. I don't know. I need to shake your hand.
For what, sir?
Because I fought for those rights for you.
Well, thank you, man.
Okay, you have a great day. You can check my plate, too. It's a Marine Corps plate.
I don't need your plate, sir, but thank you. So, that guy was very nice, very respectful. So I'm going to be a respectful, not photograph the gentleman's kids. So. And so that guy was a very, he understood the whole thing, and a very good interaction. So I'm going to cross the street here legally. And let's see. Do you want to go to the park?
I don't make a habit of filming children, so.
Well, I don't either.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I try to stay away from the park and schools and hospitals.
all right.
Like the limitation.
Okay.
Because there's no need in that, you know.
Well, I'm trying to think of any place else to go around
A
here.
couple libraries, and I've had to do a lot of editing.
Right.
So that's more editing than I really want to do.
Well, I mean, but the United States Supreme Courts have ruled that nobody has a reasonable.
Correct. However, there's certain levels of respect.
Well, of course, but like, I mean, if you're out in public, good God, I mean, shouldn't be out in public, but you are.
I know. It's done a lot to me up in a nut house a long time ago.
So here's the New Carlisle post office. Now,
I'm sure they're closed by now.
well, so technically, I haven't challenged the poster 7 here, but like, you know, there's nobody here, so we're gonna sneak inside real quick here. But like the South Bend post office downtown, they will not let you in or near their property. They get really freaking deal with. So I believe we.
I sat there at the phoner for a little while, and he let me film him. And then he was wondering what the hell I was doing. And he drove off, and all those bikers that were over there, they just cheered. They just went wild.
So, like, for example, he's the same officer who violated Well, he falsely arrested me at least twice, so he's gonna have about 4 federal lawsuits I got him into. You know?
Apparently, he don't want none of the mass today.
Well, see, he saw me fucking going down that way, so
Well, still.
he realized what was up at that point.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter though. I mean, I would have thought that he would have still tried to screw with me and.
Well, because I'm here, I mean, they're not gonna fuck with you.
They see that sucks. That really does. That sucks.
Well, I mean, they hate me and I hate them.
Yeah, the guy said.
Well, so did they do anything about that, Cindy, or not?
What?
She's still trying to file a complaint for him or something.
Oh, are you shooting live right now? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So let's.
Yeah,
do you want to go down here or something? And I'll go by the.
Dude, he said, are you gonna put that online? He said, if you are, I'm gonna rip it out of the camera out of your hand. I said, go ahead. I said, it's Kevin. I said, just the motherfuckers like you. And he says, that's all right. Your arm will come off with it.
Well,
and he wouldn't let me explain that. I don't make a habit of putting just individual citizens in there. It's about public officials.
Well,
not about individual citizens, except for ones that approach me.
Right. So like he was trying to be aggressive and stuff, but like he saw there were 2 cameras, there was a cop, there was other people there, so
he wasn't doing shit.
Yeah. So we're walking down. I don't know if this is Filbert. What street is this, or sir? Yes, we are. No, sir.
Sir, I will respect the fact that I don't put individual citizens or children in my films, but that comes out during editing.
Oh, can I see what you got?
So there's a citizen here who's being very aggressive, and he doesn't understand we have a First Amendment right to record.
Actually, what I'm doing, basically the reason why I wear a mask is for my privacy, my First Amendment right to privacy. Constantly to go around, and they don't respect people just out there taking film, because what I'm trying to do is people that have never been to Carlisle, Indiana, I put that up and I show them what New Carlisle is about and different things in the city, historical landmarks, things like that. But then you get harassed by cops. They go and put you in databases, you put you in the fusion center, all that kind of stuff,
So
I'd rather look creepy.
So
Stand here and explain myself to you than to have my face plastered all over facial recognition databases, but I don't, like I said, I don't put children in the videos. I edit them out because that's not right. I don't, anybody that, just a normal citizen that's not a public official, they don't get put in my videos unless they call up to me, start a problem, anything like that where I have to be able to record it for future reference or whatever. As you see, I'm pointing over here. I don't care.
So we weren't even doing that, sir, but now you're the story, sir. So I've lived here for 35 years, sir.
That's not perfect.
So
Just trying to, show people what's around here, and everything, different historical landmarks, and like that flag stuff at the fire station, different things like that, memorial things, stuff like that, Stuff that embodies this community. I don't know you.
he was born creepy, sir. Well, so then talk to God then, maybe, sir.
If I wanted to be a dick, I could stand here and say, what, I'm not going to do.
Have a great day, sir. So that guy gives New Carlisle just a total horrible name. So, I never thought through my fucking almost 35 years of life that people, would have such an issue upon a camera. It's a camera. It is a camera. Camera, not a gun. It's a camera. Yet they just freak out. So these small towns are just not used to having cameras in their little town. And so this needs to be done at least 2 or 3 times a week so they get the point. Well, I think we were all born creepy to a point there, sir. So we're gonna head down to the park, and then that should probably be
Why are
about.
we heading to the park?
Well, because you're going this way, so I'm following you, motherfucker.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just round in the block, man.
Well, quit bumping into me, Jesus. So I could take you guys to the Olive school. I was the first
I got a new SWAT look. To go with the 360
first
cam.
class in the actual new school that you'll see here in a couple blocks, and then I was the last class out of the old elementary school. So right now we're kind of, there we go, we'll get over here. So do we have to stop actually?
I don't know, man. Are sketches automobiles here?
I say not.
Okay. Alright, see, now I'm following you because I said I was rounding the block and I don't know where the heck you're going.
Well, so we're gonna go down here to Olive School,
Why?
so I can show everybody where I went to school. Oh,
Alright, when you go to our school, meet me back up there at the main street. I'm gonna go back up there and see if I can get Whit's attention.
okay, go have fun with Whit. So we're gonna walk here, maybe a good another. I'm probably about a block and a half here, but I went to school. At the school I'm gonna show you, I went to church down there off of Timothy, and then if I feel real energetic, I will go to Barissa Hills, but that's a little bit of a journey from here. So there are a lot of kids up here, and I won't. Hey, Ron, have you been served yet in federal court? No?
Well, what is it? When you're doing the sidewalk, you gotta walk on it. So you have to walk on the sidewalk. Then after that, you walk on the street.
So I'll oblige that.
Yeah.
So this guy, he loves to violate people's rights, YouTube. Loves to violate everybody's rights. So I'll have to check that statute that he's referencing later. So see, folks, there is no actual sidewalk from here. So Ron was just being a dick. So I'll get back to where the hell I was. What? So he told me Indiana law was if there is a sidewalk, I had to walk in the sidewalk. Okay, but then here the sidewalk ended, so then Ron was just being a dick. So as you can kind of see, people are freaked out by my camera. Well, you know, I'm a very famous guy in this little town. What? So then that means you don't have diabetes then, right? So we're coming up on some kids, so I'll be respectful here. Yes, these are some old curbs, sir. You are correct. And if we have time, I may take you to where there is a secret Indiana state prison that nobody says publicly that there's a state prison here, but all of the town folk know there is. About 3 years ago, I went up to the front door around 4:10, and I distinctly smelled Airmart food coming out of the door when the sister she came to the actual door, and yes, you are correct. Everybody knows me. And so I surmise there's this a place off of, I think it's either Early or Edison. It's a monastery of sorts. It's a Greek Orthodox uh, monastery, and there are a lot of people, including myself, who think that that is a private prison there. So I'm going to keep these kids out of view here out of respect. And so that is out of school. Well, give me 2 minutes down here. And so this is Olive School here. And then if I continue to go further, then we go to the library. But that is where I went to elementary school. And then there are some ball fields here. We'll just kind of do a pan. And we're going to head back to Main Street. See if there's anything else to be seen. But like my advice, if you're coming to the area to raise a family, I would say the New Carlisle is a really good place for you. They have good schools, very low crime. Just don't get on the bad side of law enforcement. Don't do anything illegal, but there are 7 prosecutors of a certain county that I cannot mention who live here. There is at least, I'd say, state police, South Bend cops. There's 2 LaPorte cops. There's 1 in Michigan City, a police officer. So I would say there's at least 30 different law enforcement officers that live in the town of New Carlisle. And there's a detective, a Guy Tone, who is a detective for the Elkhart Police Department. He illegally pulled me over for taking photos about 3 weeks ago. There's a sheriff's car up there. And I just haven't posted that video yet. I'm doing some things, gonna sue them. So that is the park in New Carlisle. It's Memorial Park there. Edward Jones. Now, a funny thing about this place here is, frickin' almost 11 years ago, I was coming home from Mishawaka, and I was being followed by a Indiana State Police detective. And long story short, I ended up parking about, I would say, a little in front of that sidewalk there, and then he came up and introduced himself as a Indiana State Police detective, and I believe that the so she is really freaked out. She is really freaked out. I mean, she doesn't know what the fuck to do. Call the police, shit, or kill somebody. But anyway, he ID'd himself, and he's asking me all sorts of questions and stuff. And I surmise that that the ISP had me under surveillance for they thought that I was growing or selling some cannabis, and they had me under surveillance for a good year and a half, and then they turned it over to a federal agency for about a year plus. Then in 2010, then I believe another federal agency picked it up, and then here's where you guys call me crazy, is in 2010 until 2012, excuse me, until present day. So I've alleged that the Central Intelligence Agency is involved. I also believe that the grocery store in town, Grocers by Joe, is a substation for the CIA. And yet the funny thing of this whole situation I've been going through for almost 12 years is I go to the FBI and they won't investigate. So then I go to the DOJ, OIG, they won't investigate, the FBI not investigating. So then I go to the Indiana State Police where all this started, they won't investigate. So then I go to the Indiana Inspector General's office, they won't investigate. So basically there's a conspiracy now and nobody's investigating the actual conspiracy. So, yet I have to be crazy though because nobody else can understand. So there's the community church there. So we're at Cherry and East Michigan Street. And we're about to get off here in a few minutes off this live stream. And basically, so per this live stream that kind of gives you a view of this small little sleepy town, and that people, they really freak out upon seeing a camera. And anybody that has kids, you know, I understand that you don't want your kids face on YouTube for pedophiles to see, and so I get it, but nobody has a reasonable expectation of privacy in public, and that's just one of those, you know, things in life that some may not agree with, but it is how it is until they change the Constitution. So, do you want to actually go back down there by those bikers, or do you just want to call it a... See that dog here? Look at that dog, guys. So there was a dog in a convertible there. Well, I guess both, 2 and 4. But that is the directory to the town. They just put that up about 6 months ago-ish. And you can see a mural on the wall there, if I can actually show you here. And there's the human rights violator. See it there in the wall. Oh, and for all the people on this live stream, we are going someplace next where one of us is probably going to get arrested. And so I think this is a good place to cut this live stream off. But I want everybody to stay tuned about 30-45 minutes. When I go back live, I want you guys to come back on to probably see one or both of us get arrested. So you guys have a good evening.